This video will cover the secret of getting great brass sounds for the DX7 and DX11. This V50 will be used for the video, but the settings are essentially the same for the different models. To get the most out of a brass patch, you'll need to know how it was designed. I think this video will be a good introduction to how to work with FM synthesis. Before I get started, I'll mention that these strings that were played for the introduction were the violin section that I created for this emulator 4. I hope to release them on a CD-ROM in the future. Okay, the off-the-matrix dynamic horn patch for the 4-operator synths, like this V50, used algorithm 4. The horn for the DX7 used algorithm 16. Algorithm 4 is arranged with a carrier and 3 modulators. Operator 1 at the bottom acts as a carrier. It is the main operator that produces sound, so changing the envelopes of operator 1 will affect the volume. Playing it by itself, you will only hear a sine wave without any overtones. Operator 2 above the carrier acts as a modulator to add overtones to the carrier. When a horn player blows, there is a short duration of harmonic instability lasting a fraction of a second, which is characteristic of the growl of the instrument. Operator 2 was used for the growl or rasp of the horn tone. Operator 3 acts as a modulator to add the main overtone that makes the sine wave sound like a horn. Operator 4 acts to add higher overtones. The bright overtone comes in at higher velocity levels for louder notes. The DX7 horn is set up the same way with 4 operators. 2 of the operators, 2 and 4, weren't used. For the DX7 version, operator 1 is still the carrier, but operator 3 is used for growl, operator 5 brings the main overtone, and operator 6 is used for the higher overtones. For those who are using other instruments that can load DX7 patches, the numbering of the operators may be different. Out of curiosity, I checked the Mod 7 on the Chord Kronos and found the numbers had been reversed, with 6 acting as a carrier and 1 acting as the modulator, which is 6 on the DX7. I wish the manufacturers kept the original format to avoid confusion. All the operators are off except for the carrier, so all that you'll hear is a sine wave. By the way, on this V50, to turn on and off the operators, you use these switches that are actually also the sequencer record buttons. So when I turn this on, you can see here it's showing that operator 3 is on. It'll actually start to sound like a real horn. By adjusting the output, you'll be able to adjust the tone. A lower output level will make the tone more mellow, while raising the level will make the tone brighter. So I can show you that. But if it's set too high, it's going to sound artificial. By turning on operator 2, you will hear the growl at the attack. It's good for staccato parts. The horn was set up for melodic lines, but by increasing operators 2 and 4, you can get a brighter tone for different phrasings. On the DX7 will be operators 3 and 6. So I'll turn on operator 4, and then you'll hear the brighter overtone. If you increase it, you'll notice that the bright overtone becomes more present. It's great for orchestral lines, for like epic film scores, so I can layer it here with the emulator 3 Gideon horns that I created. and you really got an epic sound. By the way, these Gideon horn samples are available for the SY99. The 4-operator synths, like the DX11 and this V50, have the option of using waves other than sine waves. I discovered that if you change the sine wave of operator 3 to operator 4, it will start to get a tone that sounds like a trombone. I'm doing this on the V50, but it will be the same on the DX11 and other models like the TX81Z. Now I'll set the output levels a little differently, and it's going to sound up. So on this, I would set the trombone for operator 3 to like 85 and maybe bring this down. And you start to get a tone that sounds much more like a trombone. You need to bring down the brighter overtone a little bit, and then it really starts to sound like a trombone. And maybe add a little vibrato here. That. EQ is also very important to get a good sound, because since the sound is being created usually with sine waves, the fundamental is too strong. So I found that EQing the French horn by bringing down, say, the 200 hertz range makes the fundamental not so present. And I discovered that on the SY99 because it had a high pass filter. And I would set that filter to cut off the lower fundamentals. But also for the trumpet that I'm going to create, I found that I need to EQ, take the 2.5 kilohertz and this range down of the 4 and 5 kilohertz, because the tone was like too piercing. I was able to make great improvements for the fanfare trumpet patch by using the additional waveforms of the V50. So unfortunately, the improvements can't quickly be done on the DX7. The other waveforms are very useful, so I wish manufacturers wouldn't produce new FM synths with the limitations of the DX7. Here's how to improve the fanfare patch. Set operator 1, that is the carrier, to wave 4. Operator 2 will be set to wave 2. Then operator 3, which adds the rasp for the sound, will be set to wave 2. And then operator 4, which is the main overtone, will be set to wave 4. Then you'll need to adjust the out levels. So 99, which for the carrier is fine. Then I bring this up a little bit, operator 2 to say 70. The important thing is to bring down operator 3, which is the rasp, quite a bit to like 50, because it was giving it too much of a kind of a raspy trombone tone. And then operator 4 can pretty much stay where it is. So now you got a tone that's much more like a trumpet. And if you compare it now, it's quite a bit different. The original tone sounded too much like a trombone. It may be possible to get this brighter tone with the 6 operators of the DX7, but I'm sure it'll take many hours to do it. I'm always making improvements to the patches, so I'm planning to make more videos. So if you like this, be sure to subscribe.